At this location, we're looking for, I believe, mostly tremolite. There might be some diopside here and some other minerals. Here is an example I just picked off the ground. But you can kind of see it's somebody's been digging deep down. And some of the material they've thrown out. Like this is all tremolite. That's actually not a half bad little cluster of tremolites. And I noticed this. This is strange. I'm going to keep this because I don't know what this is. And it's like a rough crystal shape. And it's got some striations and stuff. But I don't know what it is for sure. Feels a little heavy. Is it a titanite? I don't think it is, but it is strange. So that's coming home because I want to figure out what that might be. But I'm going to poke around here for a little bit, and then there might be one more road cut that I'll mess around today, and that'll be it for me today. I've done a bunch of stuff today, and I'm pretty tired and I need to head home. I need to be home tonight, so I've got a bit of a drive still, but if I find anything interesting, I'll definitely show you guys. So I was just checking over here beside that big hole that I just showed you guys. And I picked up this little piece, and it's black, it's got striations, it's pretty shiny. I believe this is Shoral, so Tourmaline. So maybe that's what that black piece is that I just showed you. Looks like it might come from a layer above. There's like a mica layer. Maybe this tourmaline stuff came from that layer as well. But I don't see too much tremolite here. So I think I'm gonna go and mess around in that hole, or around that hole, and see if I can find anything interesting. So I just noticed something interesting. This piece of material has tourmaline on it, but I just noticed when I was sitting down that this is actually a feldspar crystal with the tourmaline on it. It's actually pretty cool. I'll probably actually take that home. And I just noticed this. Nah, that's nothing. Okay, cool. I think this actually might be an animal burrow, or whoever went down there is a lot smaller than me, because there's no way in the world I would fit in there. But I'm gonna poke around. There's some like side bits, or like you can see there's diggings over there. So I'm just gonna look around and see what there is, kind of just get a lay of the land. I'll probably not do too much here. I just kind of want to explore these spots so that in the future I know if I want to come back to them, if I'm in the area, it'll be like a quick spot that I could maybe come back to. And also there's some diggings down there, so I'll check that out. But I'm happy with a couple tourmaline specimens and a couple tremolite specimens. Nothing super fancy, but you know what? If there's something else that somebody missed, then I'll show you guys. Here's this spot. A couple pieces that I noticed sticking out of the discards, and somebody left their water bottle. I bet if I open it up, let's see if I can do this one-handed. Maybe I can. I bet it's unopened by the looks of it. But whoever was here last forgot their water bottle. Tisk tisk. But I'm gonna poke around here because it looks like there might be some stuff that I could dig up. Maybe some more of that tremolite that I picked out of the discards. It's tiny, but I just rolled out this lovely little tremolite crystal. It looks like it has one termination at least. Nice dark green. Let's see if we can pull out some clusters or something. So I've been digging down there, and I just pulled out this promising looking piece. You can see all the crystal faces on there. That looks pretty good. Hopefully there's more where that came from. We got another little blade that just popped out of there. It seems to kind of be mixed in with the mica, the nicer tremolite. So that's what I'm going to focus on in that area. If that seems to be working, that's where I'm going to keep working at. Found some smaller pieces. This one's two single terminated crystals with fused together, and then this one has some smaller crystals on it. Hopefully we will get something bigger. We have a couple more lustrous blades that I just pulled out. They just seem to be loose sitting up against the wall basically, so when I scrape the soil off the wall they seem to pop out. But man, that luster on them and that dark greenness is quite awesome. I'm quite happy. So I'm done for the day here. I've progressed the hole a bit. Found some nice blades. Nothing super spectacular, but their color and their gemminess is nice, so I'm happy with it. And this spot was a lot cooler than the last spot I was at, so that was also nice. Just sitting in the shade, digging in the cool dirt helped cool me down from the last spot where I was exposed to the heat. But we'll get to the cleanup and you guys will get to see the specimens all cleaned up. So here we have some of my finds cleaned up. Unfortunately, I accidentally left some of the stuff I found that day, some of the smaller intact crystals at the site, which was dumb of me, or I misplaced them somehow and I don't know where they went. But here are some of my finds. Now, just a quick explanation of the graphite road cut. It's actually, so the tremolite occurrence is happening in an amphibolite occurrence. Like it's an amphibolite based rock. And then where I found these feldspars and the tourmaline, that's actually a pegmatite that is in close association with this amphibolite rock. And actually where I started looking was where the pegmatite meets the amphibolite. So that's why I found the feldspars and that tourmaline over there. And then when I switched spots, I found the main digging area where people were finding I think I said tremolite. On Mindat, they list it as actinolite. For now, I'm just going to say actinolite tremolite series minerals, because they're part of the same group or series of minerals. They're a silicate-based mineral, very similar to each other. Actually, they can kind of form in an asbestos form. So similar to asbestos, they can form in these like fibrous, like needle-like crystals, and they act similar to asbestos. So these minerals definitely don't crush them up and snort them, because they're probably not very good for your lungs. Let's put it that way. Found this feldspar crystal just kind of sitting loose in the broken up pegmatitic material that somebody had moved. They must have found some better stuff if they're gonna leave a crystal like this. And we've got this small plate of feldspar crystals. You can see there's some quartz on the back, and then you can see there's a whole bunch of tourmaline, black tourmaline, intergrown with the feldspar crystals. Which is kind of cool. But that was not something I was expecting to find there, but later when I read about the location again, I noticed that there was a little blurb mentioning that there was a pegmatite nearby. So that explains this feldspar and the schorl that I found. This was the one very lustrous schorl crystal I found. It's a partial. You can see it's terminated on the end. Its termination is just kind of flat. I think it grew up against it has like a crystal impression, so I think it grew up against other things. But overall, I was still quite impressed by this specimen, so I took it home. But it is a nice, very dark, lustrous schorl specimen, or black tourmaline specimen. So most of the actinolite tremolite that I found was this kind of really small stuff, and every once in a while you get some like sharper blades in the mix. This one I should probably put in some iron out to remove some of the iron staining, but this is what you kind of was the most common, was just like this kind of massive kind of actinolite tremolite masses with some pockets of smaller crystals. Some of the pockets are less formed, while some of the other crystals are much more sharper and well formed. This piece is nice because it's just a mass of crystal faces. It's quite aesthetic, and it's got that really lovely dark green color from the actinolite tremolite that's found at this location. But this was a piece I kind of pulled off of the wall of the pocket as I was digging down. Here's a little pocket piece of sharper crystals with well-formed shapes. This could also do for an iron out bath, but you can see usually the smaller crystals have a higher chance of being sharper, whereas the larger it got, the more massive and kind of less formed I was finding, or just the larger ones that were at a higher chance of breaking as well. A little small cluster of well-formed sharp crystals. It's another candidate for an iron out bath for sure. Now I did find a couple double terminated pieces. The terminations don't seem to be super sharp on these larger pieces. It's also partially because these larger pieces seem to be a bunch of individual smaller crystals, and you can kind of see for individual blades you got a bunch of individual terminations, and it's the same on this end. You get individual terminations, and the terminations are kind of a bit dull and not too sharp, but there were a couple double terminated pieces I found, and this was one of them. That dark green lustrous color is just quite fantastic on these. I like that dark green color. This piece, unfortunately, even though it has some really nice sharp faces, is just not all there. It's hard to tell. I think this end is a kind of a grungy termination, and then this end is a bit more noticeable, it looks like. And then this end, I believe, is actually broken, but it could be that both sides are broken. But you can see this one had some pretty sharp, clear faces. This one would have been really nice if it was all there. Another nice double terminated piece. Again, the terminations are kind of wonky, or there are multiple tiny terminations. This one is the crystal's nice and dark and green. Unfortunately, you can see back here, there is some damage along this edge, but overall, still quite a lovely individual blade of tremolite-actinolite. And the color is just, I love the dark kind of emerald green color that it has. Overall, I would definitely recommend visiting this location. I'll even put a link below to the Mindat page for it. It is definitely worth a dig around for a little bit. I spent, I think, an hour and a half or 2 hours there, and I found a couple nice pieces, and it showed some good promise, so I believe there's still some good stuff there. And the fact that it's actually, there's a pegmatite there and then a amphibolite based occurrence as well is kind of cool. So you get, like, you know, a mix of two kind of clashing, and I'm sure there's some really interesting combinations right against those edges. And yeah, I would just, in general, I would recommend this location. It had some very interesting finds and showed some good promise still. This brings us to the end of the video. Please, in the comments below, let me know what you found the most interesting on this trip, which find you found the most interesting. And please also, if you haven't already, please do like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. And folks, thank you for watching and supporting this channel, and I will see you guys in the next video.